Welcome back to AM Northwest. What's it take to bring a story to the big screen? Well, why do some films fail while others become fan favorites? Here to share some insights, we welcome the author of How to Score in Hollywood, Secrets to Success in the Movie Business, entertainment strategist Kevin Goetz. Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Helen.
That's
How are
great.
you?
Good. I've got to ask you, what is your background? I know you're a child actor. You were a producer, right? Tell me more.
Well, I love it. Yeah. Not only was I on the creative side for so long, but also I had a pretty good business sense from being a kid. And because I was a pro actor, at 17, I started my own business,
Wow.
a dance and acting school in East Brunswick, New Jersey, originally from Brooklyn. But what was great about that was a lot of the parents would say, "Hey, how do you do what you do? Where did you
Right.
learn to do that?" And so as a result of that, I said, "Hey, I'm going to capitalize on this." So I use a lot of the principles that I actually talk about today in the book, How to Score in Hollywood, back then when I was 17. So it's important to have that left and right brain for
Sure.
me
Sure.
going, yeah.
You really know and you really study audiences and what they like and what they will watch.
That is correct. I actually call myself an audience advocate, kind of being a voice for the voiceless often, because I truly believe, and I have a podcast, called "Don't Kill the Messenger," and at the end of the podcast, every time I say, "Your opinions matter," and I really mean that, because my whole career has been built on advocating, listening, and respecting audiences
Yeah.
and their opinions and how they could shape things, how they can. In my first book, Audienceology, I talk about how movies you see and how audiences shape those movies that
Yeah.
you see. And
Yeah.
in this book, I talk about understanding audiences and their intensity of interest at the idea stage is crucially important to success.
What do audiences want to see at movies?
Wow. Well, they want to see elevated whatever it is, meaning an experience. When the streaming revolution sort of happened
Yeah.
7, 8, 9 years ago, that created a confluence of three things that had never really come together at the level that they have: cost, convenience, and choice. It's
Right.
expensive to see a movie in a theater. Family of four, like $80 or
Yeah.
something. And you can get 5 streaming services for that amount of money. So the cost was suddenly a consideration. Convenience, God knows it's much easier to see great content at home as well. And choice, there's so much of it.
Right.
So the question was, how do you participate in a call to action? How do you get people to leave their homes, spend the money, because they still want to go out?
Yeah.
And it has to be a benchmark that is, as I said, elevated horror, elevated comedy, elevated romance, big special effects, a big director. Dramas right now are not doing particularly well at the box office. And there's some great ones out there, great ones. But like Oppenheimer, for example, a couple of years ago, was an elevated drama. And that's
Yeah.
why it did what it did. Of course, Christopher Nolan, a great cast.
Yeah.
But even the atomic bomb and the making of that was a really interesting, appealing visual to see. So that's what I'm talking about. Or the Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell romance. People saw that in the theater. Why? Because it had two of the sexiest stars together at the time, and that was elevated. And the same is true of so many movies that succeed today, that catch on in terms of the zeitgeist and the universality of those things, and make them feel like, wow, everyone's talking about this. I need to see that. Because more people actually go to the movies, but people are seeing far fewer movies in a theater
Yeah,
these
in a
days.
theater. Yeah. And
Correct.
I think, COVID, the quarantine had a lot to do with that. And we learned that we could watch the best of the best at home as well.
Well,
Barbie, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I agree with you completely, but I don't think that the pandemic uh, caused it. I think it accelerated the
Yeah.
inevitable.
Yeah, exactly.
Barbie, you were going to ask about Barbie.
Barbie, I love that movie so
Yeah.
much. And
Yeah.
I would think that if I was to be a movie producer and someone came to me with that idea, I'd go, I don't think that's going to work.
Oh, well, have you read my book yet? Because you sound like you've read it.
Yeah.
Because I have to tell you, there's this. I did a study early on for Mattel and all their IP, and when I tested Barbie as a property, it was so well known,
Yeah.
but nobody wanted to see it as a movie
Right.
except some young girls and moms. And it was the brilliance of Robbie Brenner, the head of Mattel Television and Movies, Enon Kreitz, the head of Mattel CEO, Margot Robbie, Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach, who really came together to change the DNA of that movie. And as a result of that, it was a wonderful lesson for me, who could have easily dismissed Barbie. I told Robbie, run from it.
Yeah.
And she said, no, I can't run from it. It's our biggest property. But they found their way in. Not only did they find their way in, they found a way to be relatable and meaningful to generations. That's really tough to
Yeah.
do. I
Speaking
love that.
speaking of generations, one of my all-time favorite movies is yours, Sound of Music.
Oh, okay. I think I just found a new BFF
Yeah.
here.
I mean,
Helen,
just
in you,
absolutely
in you.
love that movie so much.
But I want to tell you why I love it so much, if I
Why?
can. I love it so much because, to me, it encompasses all the best about movie going. You know, as a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, you know, I get to vote for the Oscars, et cetera. I think there's an obligation to sort of look at the art of filmmaking and acknowledge all the great crafts that go into it. In that movie, think about it, from the idea to the theme, to the script,
Yeah.
to the casting, to the setting, to the music, to the direction, to the editing. Robert Wise, I mean, come on. It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And so that's why I find it a cinematic masterpiece and a kind of the absolute gold standard of a great movie.
Yeah, I agree totally. We want to tell everyone the name of the book. You got to check this out. How to Score in Hollywood: Secrets to Success in the Movie Business. Okay, BFF, thanks. It was great talking with you. I hope we talk again.
My pleasure, Helen. I hope we do it again sometime.
Yes. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest.